The James Show Podcast.
Who is this generation's Hulk Hogan? Who is this generation's guy that's so overtly pro-American, so overtly masculine that little boys who want to be pro-American, who want to, be masculine, they have someone like that to look up to? And the answers have been pretty disappointing. I mean, there's been some examples out there, but no one comes close to the level of popularity and just being a cultural icon like Hulk Hogan was in the 80s and 90s and, thusly. Just... there's some guys out there that kind of fit the bill, like a Joe Rogan, I guess. It's not really aimed at kids. I don't know. It's been a tough one. But my current guest, Tony Ortiz from CurrentRevolt.com. First off, excellent job finding that story from Houston in the last segment. But the next story I'm interested in, can you talk about it next?
Yeah, I can't really talk about it in too much detail since it's potentially going to end up in a legal thing. And I'm actually, as we're talking, I'm working on a project to further lock down the veracity of the claims. But I will just say that it is interesting that he'd have his lawyer text me instead of sending me an email or a letter. And if you read the text where he alleges that I'm going to publish something that's false, he doesn't actually say what I'm going to publish. So, and I asked him this, but it doesn't actually say.
Well, he would be giving away the ghost. Then that breaks the whole point of trying to silence you. Are we allowed to say the dude's name?
Well, yeah, of course. It's already been public. It's Representative Giovanni Capriglione, right?
Who is this to the people who are hearing that name for the first time?
Yeah, he's a Texas State House rep in Tarrant County area, right? And, it's funny that there was rumors of our story somehow circulating the Capitol over the weekend. And then he, interestingly enough, I believe yesterday or the day before, decided to retire. So the timing is really unique and kind of odd, I think.
Well, it kind of confirms the rumor.
I don't know about that, but it definitely looks suspicious. I think many people would agree.
Says the guy who doesn't want to be sued.
He was bragging about his Trump endorsements and his Abbott endorsements.
Right.
And then a week later, he retires. It just seems a bit odd.
So when can we talk about this?
Well, the plan right now is to publish the story Friday. So if you're listening and you want to have the story in your inbox first thing in the morning, it's just currentrevolt.com and you just type in your email and you'll wake up in the morning and have it in your inbox.
If you want more details, go to currentrevolt.com, and Tony Ortiz has put a screenshot of, was this from an email from a lawyer?
A text message.
A text message.
Yeah.
Well, it's a long text message. All right.
Yeah, it is.
So we'll talk more about the scuttlebutt because it's fantastic. I just don't want to get anybody sued. I don't want to get sued. I don't want WBAP to get sued. But as soon as it's all clear to talk about this scandal, we'll have to have you back on. Great reporting.
Sounds good.
Tony Ortiz, currentrevolt.com. Go check it out. Appreciate it, sir.
Thank you.
All right, now let's go back to the damn near impossible task of finding who is this current generation's Hulk Hogan. From the Facebook Instant Messenger chats, we have Kevin saying Evel Knievel should have been on the list. Evel Knievel's from before my time, sir. My kids don't know who Evel Knievel is. Brandon says, what about Chuck Norris? We already covered that in the last hour, but, that's also from a previous generation. He's 85 now. My kids aren't watching him. What about Dana White or Joe Rogan? Okay, closer. I still, I'm not sure if that's the icon level of a Hulk Hogan. I'm not sure if kids are celebrating it, but Joe Rogan's pretty close. That's about as close as we've gotten so far. David says pro rodeo. Well, that is masculine. It is manly. It is strong. It is pro-American. It's not really a cultural icon. It's not that big of a hit. One of my cousins could name some rodeo stars, but I don't think my kids can't name anyone who's in the rodeo. And I grew up on a horse ranch. Tells you how sad that is. Let's see. Robert says no one can match the Hulkster. Okay, we'll take that. A couple more. The Duck Dynasty guys from Jill. Jill, someone brought up Phil Robertson, but again, that's more from 10 years ago, and that was more of icon status for middle-aged guys, I would think, more so than kiddos. Again, pretty close. Just, I find all these answers just unsatisfying compared to how big and awesome and influential Hulk Hogan has been. Gene Richardson, you're on WBAP. You got one?
Yes. How about Adam Richardson that plays Jack Reacher? He likes headbutting and kicking butt.
Is Jack Reacher a overtly pro-American show?
Yes, he's a ex-MP, Army MP. So,
Because
on Netflix, I believe.
Yeah, I had a guy who emailed me because someone else had said Jack Reacher a few segments ago, and he said that the actual actor who plays him is a huge anti-American lefty.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Well,
just
won't be watching him anymore.
so disappointing. Well, look, you can divorce the art from the artist and still enjoy your favorite show. Just, I don't know. It takes a lot more than that to ruin a show for me than knowing the guy's the lefty, because that would pretty much exclude me from all TV shows and all movies and all music except for, I don't know, Ted Nugent and Muse. Is that about it? Thank you, though. Thanks for calling in, Gene. Tim, Fort Worth, you're on WBAP.
Hey, I got the ultimate one.
Okay.
He's been in a lot of movies. Jason Statham all day long. He's the action-packed hero, Expendables, The Meg, Fast and the Furious. Beautiful scene in Fast and the Furious when he's carrying around the baby in the airplane. He's the ultimate right there.
Is he big with kiddos? I mean,
Man,
he's 57 years old.
Yeah, he's 57, but yeah, kids love him. I mean, if you ask any kid, they know who Jason Statham is. You ask a teenager, they know who he is. He's
Do
awesome.
they?
Yeah.
Hey, Garrett. Oh, this other Garrett. First Garrett left. We're on Garrett 2. There's 3 Garretts at this work, by the way. If it sounds like I'm just keep using that word over and over. I know their names. They do happen to all be Garrett. Do you know who Jason Statham is without Googling it? He does? Okay. So other Garrett knows too. All right. That's pretty close then. Pretty close. I like it. Look, the market seems to be there. Whenever they do throw I mean, he's not even American, though.
Yeah, but hey, let me tell you this: he's all over the world, and I tell you one thing: he's also in the video games as well, and the kids love him in the video games. He's about to do The Hitman, which is another good one. That is a video game spinoff. And
He was born in a place that sounds so English. I think this might disqualify him. He's from a place called Shirebrook, which sounds like it's made up. Just sounds like I'm making fun of like a English place. Like, yeah, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Piddlywickets. That's not American. That's not what we're talking about.
They're also talking about possibly he may be the next 007. So I'm telling you, the guy is there all over the place.
Well, I haven't heard that, but I like the sound of that. He would be a great 007. But he'd be the first. Yeah. Well, he wouldn't even be the first bald one because Sean Connery was kind of bald.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, that's pretty good. He's masculine. He's strong. He's kind of ugly. He's balding. He's violent. Love all of that. That's a pretty good guess there, Tim. Appreciate it. Jeff in Canton, you're on WBAP. Go.
All right, brother. Well, originally I was going to sit there and think of Dwayne Johnson, but one of your previous callers suggested him. But another one maybe, how about Vin Diesel? But I just realized that there's somebody else, the actor that played Aquaman.
Oh, Jason Momoa.
Yeah, right.
We're getting closer. Jason Momoa, not nearly the same level of iconography as Hulk Hogan. But look, those guys exist. There's going to be the muscle-bound guys that have to be the lead in these action movies. They're still going to make those movies. They still make money. They're still popular. They're still going to redo comic books, which means you're necessarily going to have some big, fit guys in there. But Jason Momoa is not pro-American. Jason Momoa is not running around waving an American flag.
Well, he's not anti-American either. A lot of them that kind of filled the bill are getting to be old-timers. A lot of the cast from the Expendables, we had some great ones in there,
Well, their specific bit was being the old guys.
Well, sure. So, it kind of goes without saying. But, even Arnold was in there. Jet Li, he was probably the youngest one of them, maybe. But... I think a lot of it has to do with Hollywood and our American culture is just kind of, Hollywood's changed it, being masculine was out for the longest. Everybody was trying to poo-poo that, saying, oh, no, You can't
Yeah.
be, you know.
Well, I
that
think
was
it's bouncing back.
correct.
I think it's bouncing back, and I think we've seen the pendulum swing in Hollywood in different avenues too. Like, I remember when they were kind of anti-feminine for a while, when they were trying to convince you in the late 90s, early 2000s that the hottest chick in the world were these little heroin-looking girls that weighed like 95 pounds, and they didn't have a butt, and they were kind of flat, and like none of us are into that, sir. Guess Jeans or Christian Dior or whoever's pushing this. Remember that late 90s, early 2000s, the heroin chic phase? That didn't last very long, did it? And thank God it went away. Let's talk about some things that affect your money real quick. Steve Cotton, financial strategist, local guy here, who's going to help me understand what's going on with the economy. You think this would be bigger news, but Steve, it's been my observation that if the economy's doing good, it's not going to make news, so the economy must be doing pretty good.
Hi, James. Glad to be on your show today. It's a delight. You're exactly right. When times are fairly good, people really don't complain too much. But these trade deals coming out of Washington, being announced by the White House, are profoundly large. They're huge. They're big deals.
Who are the biggest ones thus far?
Pardon?
Who are the biggest trade deals we have thus far?
Well, the biggest deal was announced yesterday. The U.S.-Japanese trade agreement is absolutely huge. It may be a unicorn. Usually what Trump is trying to do is negotiate much lowered tariffs on our products coming into these countries and much lower barriers to market entry on our products coming into these countries. The Japanese deal is several orders of magnitude bigger than that even. For example, they've agreed to a $550 billion fund to be administered by the United States on 5 major structural areas of importance to us, such as energy, semiconductors, critical minerals, pharmaceuticals, and defense shipbuilding. And there's no other trade agreement that's been that broad or that dynamic, and it is huge.
Now, do we actually have a deal struck, or do we have a letter, or do we have some intent? Because there's been head fakes about, like a trade deal with China, but we haven't actually seen the paperwork on it. So it was just in the discussion phase. Is this one settled and written down?
Well, what they do is they agree to a set of working conditions and terms, and they initial that, and then they go from that, and then they get into the real fine points. But the vast structure of the agreement has been agreed to, and it has been published, and I'm sure the Japanese will honor that, and we will as well. But so I think we can, without seeing every little detail, I think we can confidently discuss the framework of the agreement, and it is big.
All right, we're talking with Steve Cotton, financial strategist. I heard talk of some other trade deals with not quite as big as Japan, but I still see a lot of made in Vietnam. I still see a lot of made in Indonesia on products. And so if we have a trade deal with these guys, that sounds like it'd be pretty good progress.
Well, I think it is. I think what the president is trying to do, our trading partners have had it pretty fat in their advantage, to their advantage for 40 years. And I'll give you one of the worst examples I've seen is the Japanese levied a 700% tariff on American rice. They have non-tariff barriers making it difficult to sell American cars in Japan. All of that is going to be changed by this agreement. And I think if Trump is able to successfully negotiate even 60% with our countries, our trading partners, these lower tariffs, and eliminate some of these non-tariff barriers to entry, like the regulations that they create to keep our products out. If he's even 60% successful, it will be huge for the American economy and for American companies and producers.
Well, Steve, it's been my observation that some of those barriers go both ways. Like one of the reasons we don't see very popular Chinese electric cars that are popular everywhere else on Earth in the United States is because they don't fit our car regulations. They wouldn't be street legal here because of something in D.C. that sounds like it could be easily changed in exchange, in one of these trade deals. Are we going to see Chinese cars in America?
Well, it's hard to say. the United States has been at the forefront of pushing hard on environmental regulations, especially regarding cars and trucks and buses. And we've got some of the most stringent environmental specifications of any country in the world. And other countries are not as stringent as we are when it comes to environmental regulations and gas engine efficiency and that sort of thing. With the electric cars, that's a different kettle of fish. But I think it remains to be seen whether we will accept Chinese EVs in this country. But right now, they have a corner on the electric batteries.
Understood. Well, look, the news that you gave me sounded even more optimistic than the headlines I was reading. I really appreciate the good news there. Steve Cotton, Cotton Wealth Management. Appreciate it, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, James.
All right. When I was a kid, I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. And it was so big that he actually had a cartoon made of him. You remember when they had like the Wrestling Buddies or whatever it was called? And so Hulk Hogan, not only big in the pro wrestling world, they transcended the wrestling world. And people overuse that term, but it actually fits here. This is a guy that you knew who he was, whether you watch wrestling or not, which is really the definition of transcending your sport or your whatever industry that you're in. If, transcends basketball. Michael Jordan transcends basketball. Yeah, you know him from the logo on the shoes. He got out of the people who don't watch basketball know who he is. So I'm asking, is there another icon? Who is the modern day equivalent for this current generation of Hulk Hogan? Someone that is so overtly pro-masculine. He's not a pretty little waif guy with toothpick arms and a sensitive heart and, plenty of empathy on tap. He's an abrasive guy who will kick your face in, and he's kind of balding and ugly and tan, muscle up and greasy and gross. That's what a man is. We're not pretty. We're not supposed to be. We don't want to be pretty. In fact, if you're pretty, you're doing something wrong, Tom Cruise. But let me go ahead and from behind the curtain. A lot of people have said what I think may be the best answer so far. I just hadn't heard it on the phones yet, so I want to go ahead and get it out there. Jake Paul and Logan Paul. That might be the best example I know so far, because almost all kids know who they are. And they did kind of start off as like little sissy weenie beta male guys when they were teenagers dancing around to Call Me Maybe. But then they put in the work and they got jacked up and now they fight people. And so that's pretty cool. And they're not cutesy little kids anymore with their matching Abercrombie shirts. They're ugly. They got dumb tattoos and they wear questionable clothing and stupid haircuts. That's they're fantastic. That's great. That's the one that makes me feel the best so far. A lot of people have said it. Robin said it over here on Facebook. I got another message from Kristen. I got another message that's 3 girls in a row. Oh, the girls are into this one. Oh, jealous. So jealous. So there's a couple of good answers. Now, nothing as big as Hulk Hogan, but there's not a whole lot of people who are going to be as famous as people were when we were kids because, entertainment has been so decentralized and democratized and spread out and fine-tuned. And it's going to be tough, but we're getting some good answers here. And it's making me feel a little better. 800-288-9227. This is Tim in Arlington. You're on WBAP.
Hey, James.
Hey, Tim.
I got the top spot, the American icon.
Okay.
Kenny Powers.
Oh.
Found it down.
No, dude, I love Kenny Powers. He's a personal hero of mine, and half of the stuff that he says and half of the example that he sets is terrible. He's a terrible human being. He's incredibly dishonest. He's incredibly self-centered. His ego's out of control. But the other half of what he says is things that I'm definitely thinking. I can't repeat half of it because it's so foul. But no, my kids don't know who Kenny Powers is. They're not allowed to know who Kenny Powers is. Until they're about 20 or so. But I love that man. I don't know. That's a good example that makes me giggle.
The American flag too. So in baseball. So you can't beat it.
Yeah, I love how pro-American he was when he went down to Mexico and he wore the flag as a cape and he came out in a donkey cart and he's great. He's great.
Roosters and everything.
All right, if you have a completely foul sense of humor, if half of your jokes shock decent people, you would love the show Tim just brought up in Arlington, Eastbound and Down, with the hero character of Kenny Powers. Just so funny. So fun. Good stuff. All right, next up. Oh, my God. Some of y'all have been waiting a really long time. This is Chad in Combine. You're on WBAP.
Hey, James, how are you?
I'm great, Chad.
So I was thinking, my kids are really big fans of Chris Pratt.
Okay.
They especially like him in Jurassic World.
Isn't he kind of pretty?
I don't know. Maybe he's got a new one coming out called Cowboy Ninja Viking, where he's going to.
That sounds awesome.
Be a super soldier.
Did I write a movie and forget about it? That sounds like something dumb I would come up with. Cowboy Ninja Viking. Oh, yeah. I already halfway like that show. Well, Chris Pratt is kind of. I think he's too pretty. You know, I don't think he's. Okay. I don't think he's manly enough. I don't think Chris Pratt would headbutt a guy in the bar. You think Chris Pratt's ever been in a bar fight?
Probably not. He's a good Christian.
Well, that's not bad. It's
pro-American.
Here, I'll give you this. I don't think I wouldn't call him a beta male. He's an alpha male. I'll take it. Just, I don't know, maybe a little too pretty. And that shouldn't count against you, but it does. We're men. We're ugly. And that's okay. We're supposed to be. In fact, it's kind of fun scaring people. Eugene in Dallas, you're on WBAP.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Y'all doing all right?
Doing great.
Yeah. My kid memories was Steve Austin, man, busting the beer on his head, wearing the blue jean shorts. That was my memory.
Yeah, I think that's for the millennial generation, though. And while that would be a good answer to it, it does come across with the problem of, man, are all the only masculine people in pop culture left just in sports and pro wrestling? Because it's down to sports, pro wrestling, and then maybe a handful of artists in the rap and country music worlds. But that's part of the lamenting we're doing here is we've lost so many of the big pro-American, pro-masculine pop culture icons for this generation. It's hard to find them, and I don't think Steve Austin counts. I think that's a great example of, 15, 20 years ago. But now, I mean, is he still popular? Is he still wrestling and whatnot?
I don't think he is. I think he's retired.
Because I think, didn't The Rock come back and do some wrestling here recently and do a resurgence in that? Yeah. All right. Well, that helps. And, I guess I need to say more positive things about pro wrestling. They are just carrying the torch for big, muscled up guys being dumb and acting stupid and banging our heads on stuff and getting bloody, and we probably stink. We need more of that. Little boys need that. Girls, you think we're stupid? We are, okay? But it's part of being a boy, and we need it. I don't know what he has done in his professional career in the last 30 years or so, but for a good 5 to 8 year span of my childhood, he was one of the most important people in America. And the one thing I'm lamenting here is, do kids these days, do they have the same sort of overtly pro-American, big masculine, role models? Dare I say Hulk Hogan's a role model? You may not want him to be, but he was for a lot of kiddos. And so I'm getting a lot of answers that are kind of fitting part of the bill. Like, well, this guy's overtly masculine, like Jason Statham's masculine and ugly and balding and probably smells bad and kicks butt, but he's not even American. And that's part of the thing that's missing is the pro-American part. Who is over the top pro-American like Hulk Hogan was? Because I've gotten a lot of people saying John Cena. I've gotten a lot of people saying The Rock, but they didn't run around waving American flags, did they? Stone Cold Steve Austin, did he? I don't know enough to have a strong opinion on that. It feels like there's a dearth of Americanism, especially in children's pop culture. It used to go from Hulk Hogan to G.I. Joe to, the next great American. It used to be the most normal thing in the world. Let's see. This is Kate in Grapevine. You're on WBAP. What you got, Kate?
Hey, James. How are you?
I am well.
Fantastic. My vote is for John Cena. And first of all, my condolences for
I'm sorry. We got a new AI producer, and it just plays sound bites when it recognizes certain triggers. Yeah, so.
No problem. I want to send my condolences out for the Hulk Hogan family and all of the fans and everything. But also, my vote is John Cena. He can be mean, but he can be nice, but he still has a true grit for Americana.
Does he wave the American flag?
That I do not know.
Does he have a theme song that says, I am a real American or something close to that, like the Hulk Hogan theme song?
Honestly, that's a great question. That I don't know. I did John Cena, his genuine personality, but he can like tweak it to become kind of like a mean guy,
a heel.
But he's also nice, genuine, family guy. Kind of reminds me of Hulk Hogan, I guess.
Yeah, but I think the one thing that's missing is, does he walk around wrapped up in a flag? And if I do a search for John Cena with the flag, I see some of it sometimes. Like here's one where he's in an event saluting the flag. So, okay, maybe John Cena gets a little bit of this credit that I'm looking for. But, man, isn't that sad that the last bastion of pro-American masculine pop culture icons is pro wrestling, something that's fake?
I would agree with that, yeah.
All right. Well,
but with that it's fake, but I really wish it was real.
Dude, those guys would be bleeding all over the place. They would be paralyzed if that was real. If you had a big 300-pound muscle guy chunking you.
I don't wish that on anybody.
Right.
No, James. No. I do not wish that on any human being whatsoever. I was just kind of replicating Hulk Hogan's buffiness to John Cena.
Well, the pro-American is the side I'm looking for.
I did not do any sort of research behind John Cena or Hulk Hogan, but I heard you guys on the news and I wanted to tune in. And
yeah. All right. Well, you make me feel a little bit better, Kate. I'm glad you called in.
Oh, thank you, James. I hope you have a wonderful evening.
You too. That's Kate and Grapevine, y'all. So, yeah, probably the best nomination of the day. I agree, other Garrett. Garrett number 3 over there agrees with Kate and Grapevine as well. This is Ken in Arlington. You're on WBAP.
Hey, I don't know if the guy's around anymore, but the Dos Equis guy.
Oh, yes. I don't always drink beer, but when I do, I drink some pretty cheap crap. That's amazing.
Guy in the world.
He had an accent. He's not overtly pro-American, but he does make being masculine kind of cool, so he gets half credit for that. Also,
beer's American, though.
I'm not sure my kids know who he is. And there's a new most interesting guy on the planet. They tried out 5 years ago, just didn't stick.
I nominate Garrett.
Nominate Garrett? Yeah, he's not nearly popular enough. Which one? There's 3 of them. I don't even know how to narrow it down.
Both of all 3.
Well, I like this Garrett better than regular Garrett, but don't tell regular Garrett I said that. He gets weird on me sometimes. Joe Kaufman, you're on WBAP.
Hey.
Go.
Hi, how are you?
Joe, you're going to be my last caller, so make it good.
I'm going to be number 1. Adrian!
Sylvester Stallone?
Yes, Rocky. He wears the flag. He wears the flag shorts. He's got the stars and stripes on gloves. Plus, he's Rambo.
Well, he's also from the same generation as Hulk Hogan, so he doesn't fit the criteria for the current generation's Hulk Hogan. But I do like Sylvester Stallone. I think we would like his voting record. Isn't he like a closet MAGA guy? He just doesn't get too overt about it.
He came out of the closet.
Okay.
And he's pro-MAGA.
Well, it was a solid end of the show. Joe, thank you very much over in Kaufman. That's going to do it today. Y'all thank you very much for helping me sort of get over this whole Hulk Hogan situation. A lot of good text over here. William H. Macy, Jake Paul, Steve Austin, Mr. T, Cletus McFarland. There was a lot of good suggestions over here in the comment section, so thank you for being a part online. Stick around. Coming up next, The Mark Levin Show. If you need more James Show action in the meantime, go check out my podcast. You need to be subscribing to that anyway. I'm James Parker. This has been The James Show, the pro-American, pro-masculine James Show on News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP.
The James Show Podcast.